Welcome to another episode of Math by Audrey. My name is Audrey Codner. I'm the owner of Math by Audrey, used to be known as ACG Math Tutoring. And I'm getting to a point where I have to ask. Actually, I have to remind myself. I'm here to break down concepts for people that's always been afraid of math. And that was me once. So, I want to know, can we solve this in 30 seconds? Okay. We're going to be doing a mixture of math problems that we've done throughout the week, and I want to see how you understand. How are you breaking it down? Are you understanding? And then I can put that clarification to Beth. So we're going to start off with order of operation, and we shall progress. Alright? Okay? So, put your answers in the chat. Okay? Because remember, when we do an order of operations, you have to remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Or, if you're international, it'll be Badmas. You got your brackets, your others, dividing, multiplying, addition, then subtraction. So if we are following that rule, the major part that everyone forgets is from left to right. So right now, we have a whole entire expression going on in the numerator. So what do I combine first? I deal with the multiplication. So that means I'm going to have 10 plus 30 over 2 minus 5. Sticking with that numerator, we have our 10 plus 30, which gives us 40. Now, sticking with our rules, multiplying or dividing always comes before addition or subtraction. So that means we have 40 divided by 2 minus 5. Okay? So when we have our 40 divided by 2, we have our 20 minus our 5, which I see a couple answers here from Hetfield and from Kay, which gives us our 15. Alright? So, simple as that. Are we only going to be doing order of operations? No, because we're doing some mixture of problems. So, see if you can answer this in 30 seconds. Let's go. Okay, so just hold your answers until the end of the timer as you guys are coming in to see what you can do. If you're not sure what it is, once the timer expires, put a question mark so I know how far into detail I gotta go. Alright. So, what you see before you is a g function. What do you guys get? Go ahead, put them on in there. Okay, so Hetfield, I see you. Okay. Natum, how are you? Good morning. I see you as well. Okay, Skara, I see you. Thank you. Alright. And we have 3 different answers. Okay. Alright, if you think you know the answer, go ahead and put it into the chat. Alright, Jasmine, I see you. Is that Agnita? If so, I see you. Sandra, good morning. I see you. Alright, the sweet one, welcome back. I see you. Fully, I see you. Alright, I see you a couple times. Alright, so let's take a look. So when we're doing this, when it comes to function notation, notice that the x and the 4 are in the same spot. Okay, so this is the g of x, this is the g of 4. So that's telling me wherever I see a 4 in this expression, I am going to substitute it, or every time I see an x, I'm going to substitute it with the 4. So now that means I'm going to have 4 squared minus 5 times 4. Okay? So, here we go again, order of operations. Let's do that exponent. So 4 squared, that's the same as saying 4 times 4, not 4 times 2. Okay? When it's an exponent, you're writing out this base the number of times the exponent tells you, which gives us 16. Minus, we do the multiplication before we do the subtraction. So 5 times 4 is 20. And 16 minus 20, if someone owed you $20 and they paid you 16, that means they still owe you $4. Okay? There's been a lot of math live streams. School started. School started. Kids have gotten a little bit blah about it. Okay, so what you just found, the g of 4 is equal to negative 4, that means you're looking at a point. Okay, 4 is your x, negative 4 is your y. Alright, so let's take a look. Can you solve this in 30 seconds? Or simplify this in 30 seconds? Okay. Alright. M&T, how are you? Make sure you take a look at it again, MT. Okay, almost there. Alright, go ahead, show up your answers. What do you guys think? Okay, it's negative 4y cubed. Negative 4y cubed. Okay, so did I pronounce your name correctly, Agneta? Okay, Natum, I see you. MT, I see you. X, how are you? Okay, I see you. That's about right. Okay. Alright. I'll try. I don't like insulting people with their names, so if you have a breakdown, please let me know. Okay, Ishmael, I see you. Okay, Sandra, I see you. Alright, so let's take a look. Alright, so here we go. This is the one thing that throws a lot of people. Again, everything inside this parenthesis is being raised to the third power. The one thing that a lot of people do is like, oh, well, I know I can raise y to the third power and I'm going to get y cubed. Beautiful thing. But then you forget everything inside this parenthesis needs to be raised to the third power. That includes the negative 4. So, negative 4 to the third power is not the same as saying negative 12. You're basically saying, I'm taking this base of negative 4 and I'm multiplying itself 3 times. So, if I take the first two, a negative times a negative gives me a positive, and 4 times 4 gives me 16. Bring down the other negative 4. That's coming down. So now I have a 16 times a negative 4. Well, a positive times a negative is always negative, and then 16 times 4 gives me 64. So our solution for this will be negative 64y cubed. Okay. Alright, are we feeling better about that? Okay. So, let's try this. Factor it. X squared minus 9x is equal to 18. factor it. Do it to the best of your ability. If you're not sure, you're going to put a question mark. Okay, when the time expires. Okay, it's nice. Alright. Okay, anonymous, that's not it. Factor it. Factor it. I should not see any equal signs because I didn't say solve it. I said factor it. Okay? And it's okay if you forgot. That's why I'm here. I'm here to do a preview / review. Okay? Alright, so there was a couple people that flashed up. I think there was a Kevin. Yep, Kevin Smith, I see you. Alright. Alright, la. What kind of math is this? This is for the T's math? Yes, it is. Everything that I do is basically for GED, ASVAT, Accuplacer, T's test, HESI test, especially the beginning, GRE for the general one, and Praxis for the beginning one as well. Alright, so Mr. Los, I see you. Ick, it's supposed to be an expression, but I'll show you. Okay, is that Nima? I see you. Nelly, I see you. Okay, Hetfield, I see you. Nitum, I see you. Can't believe you forgot this. It's okay. It's called summer. A lot of people forgot a lot of things. Alright, so first off, your leading coefficient is 1, which is great. How do I know it's my leading coefficient? Because it has the highest degree. So right away, I can go straight into my parentheses. And what I'm going to do is split my x's. So there's going to be one x in one parenthesis and x in the other. So now, I need to think what two numbers multiply will give me 18, and the same two numbers added together to give me my middle term of -9. Okay, so we got to think of what two numbers multiplied will give me 18. A lot of people will say 9 and 2, but if I do 9 and 2 and I try to add them, this is going to give me 11 if they're both positive. If I made, because both of them could be negative, because a negative times a negative gives me a positive, but that's still going to give me a -11. So it's not 9 and 2. So we have 6 and 3. Because since we have a positive, but we need a negative number, so that means both of these numbers has to be negative. So -6 times -3 gives me positive 18. -6 plus -3 gives me a -9. So I'm just plugging in my -6 and my -3. So if you gave me x equals 6 and 3, that's not factoring, that's solving. Okay? Alright, so yes, this is what we're getting. Okay? Right? And the cross figures of 18? Exactly, that's what I just did. Okay? Alright, so let's try this one. What's my answer? This shouldn't even be 30 seconds. What's my answer? Plug it in. Put it into the chat. What is my answer? Okay. Alright, so Charlie, Ick, Abel, Tatiana, Nathan, okay, Nina, yep, laws of exponents, disregard, okay. 1, alright, L, okay, yes. I think, let me see if I know this. Alright, T's, I think it is. Cams, I see you. Agnita, I think. Alright, so anything raised to the 0 power, okay, is not 0. It's 1. Right now, this is inside a parenthesis. So that means this is going to be my base. Anything raised to the 0 power is going to be 1. Alright? I know a lot of people will say 0, but it's always going to be 1. Alright, let's try another one. Okay, first off, translate. Translate this. What do we got? Translate it from verbal to algebraic. Okay, taking a look. Translating from verbal to algebraic. We're going to go back to the timer soon, but just not yet. Okay, you hate math? No, you don't hate math. You hate how you feel about math. You hate the fact that you felt that everyone got the answer and you didn't get the answer. So all we know is that's how you learn. You think they came out the womb knowing that anything raised to the 0 power is equal to 1? No. Okay, we had to figure that out. Someone had to teach us that. Okay, and it's easy for our brains to kind of throw off like, yeah, I got it, and then you just have to correct it, because we still have to correct our brains. Okay, we have to retransform or basically reform our brains. Okay, we're okay. Alright, so glad I see. Alright, so glad I'm seeing different things. Loving this. Alright, this is why I come on here. First off, we need to understand, what does the word quotient mean? That's what's throwing a lot of you guys off. So quotient means division. So when they say the quotient of, that means you're dividing something. Well, what are we dividing? That's what the next part is. We're going to divide two things. And the two things that we're dividing is a number, which can be any variable in the alphabet except for E and I, because they're actually numbers, and 4. So how would you write that? Let me put it over here. So the quotient of a number, we're going to divide, and we like to use the fraction bar. Okay? So the quotient of a number, the first one is what goes in your numerator. So you guys were using x, we'll do that, and 4. Right? Then it says less than. So that means the quotient of a number in 4 is less than 7. Less than is not the inequality. If it had the word is less than in front of it, that's an inequality. When it says just less than, that means subtraction. So they're saying that this x over 4 is going to be the one that's going to carry the minus from the 7. So it's going to look like this. 7 minus x divided by 4. Okay, so that's what's doing. So the 7 is not the one that's carrying the minus sign. It's the quotient of the number and 4. Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, so it's not less than as the inequality. Okay, if it has the word is in front of it, yes. Okay, you're getting flashbacks? Good. Alright, now let's do an extension of this, so see if we can do some solving. I got 4 cards here. So I want you to pick either 1, 2, 3, or 4. Put it in the chat. Okay, picking cards 1 through 4. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Put it in the chat. Okay. Alright, so it looks like 3s. Oh, wait, 4s. 4s are coming beyond. Okay, we got 3s. We got 2 and 2. So it's between 3s and 2. Who's doing that? We got one more. Okay, we're doing 3. Majority rules. Okay, so this is the extension. Equals negative 64. So I don't even know what's going to come out of this. We have no idea, but that's the fun of it. All right? So now, equals negative 64. So that means we have our first part, which was the quotient of a number and 4 less than 7. And we're saying equals negative 64. Okay? So now, let's get to solving. So we're not looking at this part anymore because we had to move it over. Alright? What do I do first? What do I do first? Okay? What do I do first? No, we're not going to times the 4 yet. We have to isolate it first in order for us to do that. Yes. So, in order for me to solve for an x, I need to isolate it. Right now, this is not minus x over 4 anymore. This is a negative x over 4. That's going to stay right where it is. So we need to get rid of this 7. So a positive 7, the inverse is a negative 7. Because this minus sign is acting as a negative for this ratio. Okay, that's important. A lot of people tend to switch it up and say, oh, that's a negative 7 because there's a negative sign. No, the negative signs are always on the left. So if we subtract 7 on both sides, 7 minus 7 gives me 0. I don't need that placeholder because I still have my negative x over 4 over here. Okay? Equals what? Okay, trust you, you're Asian. Being Asian doesn't mean anything because I also tutor Asian students as well. Okay? So, negative 64 and negative 7. Okay, what's negative 64 and negative 7? Okay, thank you, Tatiana. Thank you, Dom. Hey, Dom, welcome back. Thank you, Nelly. Okay, so we have our negative 71. When you're combining and they're both the same signs, you're adding them together and keeping the sign. Think of the debt, okay? If you owe somebody $64 and for some sick and twisted reason, they loaned you another $7. So now you owe them $71. Okay? Now, from here, what's going on? So from here, we're going to take care of this fraction. The inverse of division means multiplication. So let's take care of two things at the same time. Okay? So what we're doing is we're going to multiply both sides by not just the 4, but a negative 4. Okay? So we're going to take care of our 4's because 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. And a negative divided by or times a negative makes a positive. So now I can just bring down that nice sweet x. Alright, so now negative times negative gives me a positive. 4 times 1 gives me 4. 4 times 7 gives me 28. Alright, so that means our x, our unknown, is going to equal 284. Well, remember, there was a negative. So as we're taking care of not just the 4, but also the negative. Okay? Yes, I do. It's called Math by Audrey. I'm thinking about going live in there. Yeah, because it's negative. So we do get a positive 284. Yep. Alright, so let's try another stitch. Okay? Word problem form. So I'm basically going from one to the next. Clear this up a little bit for you. Okay. You're probably saying, oh God, word problem. No. Yes. It's part of the process. But take a look. Anytime word problems, they give you an equation. You don't need to read all that sometimes. They give you an equation, and then what are we looking for? We're trying to find the P of 4. Huh. Well, the equation, if I may right here, is your P of T is equal to 100 times 2 raised to the T. And they want you to find, there we go. We want you to find what is P of 4. Okay. There you go, Ick. Go ahead, solve it. Mayo, I see you. Okay, Nelly, I see you. T stands for time. There you go. And they're telling you, and it says right here, where T is the time in hours. Okay? So now we're plugging in. There you go, Dom. So we have our 100 times 2 raised to the T. And the T is 4. Guess what we're doing again? Alright? This is function notation. Now we're still doing order of operations. So what do we do first? Okay, what do we do first? There we go. We gotta do the exponents before we do the multiplying. I know for a fact you're tempted. Okay? You see a very attractive person, you want them for you. But guess what? You have limitations. Okay? So we are taking care of this exponent first. So 2 to the 4th power. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay? It's not 8. Okay? It's 2 raised to the 4th power. I'm multiplying my 2's 4 times. So here, group them. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 4 times 4 gives me 16. And I'm still going to multiply that 16 by the 100. That's why everyone is getting 1,600 or 1,600. That is what your P of 4 is. The only reason why you have this over here is to remind you what you substitute in for the T. Okay? And then you just go ahead and solve. Alright? Okay? So P is representing the population in this case. Yes. Usually if they don't say populations, it's usually probability. Okay? Alright? How we're feeling. You get it? Awesome. Alright? Let's try another one. Let's just try to keep things going and flowing. Okay? Simplify that. 30 seconds. Let's go. Simplify this. Hey, Black Pearl. How are you? Okay. Alright. Oops. Throwing stuff around. Alright, so what we got? Alright, so Ick, Lala, Brenda, Zodiac, Sai, Tatiana, Dom, Kems, Anita, Hunter. Hey Hunter, how are you? Pearl, Zama. Okay, let me see if I go the other way. I'm okay. Is that Jalon? Ooh, help me with this one. Okay, maybe middle school. Okay, probably 8th grade. Alright, so taking a look, going back to our whole thing. Anything raised to the 0 power is what? Not 0, it is 1. Okay, so you're not given an answer of negative 55, which I didn't see. Good job, guys. So then you do your multiplication. So 88 times 1 will give you 88. And then when you subtract that 55, boom, you get your answer of 33. Excellent, guys. Good. All right. You're saying, I don't know how to do this. This is so hard. Hush. You're going to be fine. All right, so let's try this. Find my rate of change. Find my slope. Okay. It's clicking in now. There we go. Yeah, find my rate of change. Okay, find my slope. You forgot this too? That's okay. It's called summer. See, this is why when you see so many people that are like, oh, don't forget about the summer slide, we're not just saying it to make your lives miserable. It's true. All you have to do, and like I tell my students, you just need like 10 minutes a day, right? Hell, if you could just work out to get your heart rate up in 10 minutes, you could do the same thing for math to keep your brain active so you won't miss out on so many things. All right, so getting a lot of stuff. Okay, I see Ick, I see Dom, I see Dom, you don't have to put it inside of parentheses. Okay, yep, Nelly, yep, y over x, keep it going. Alright, okay, so let's take a look. So a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't remember this. Now, when we're looking at the rate of change, aka slope, we're basically looking at the change of y's over the change of x. Greek symbol delta meaning change. I read, because I don't know where everybody's from, I read from left to right. So this is the first point that I see. Order pairs always comes x, then y. And since this is the first point that I see, I give it the little subscript of 1. Then I have my x and y. And since this is the second point that I see, I give it the subscript of 2. Now, this will work fine if you read from right to left. You can make this your first point and this your second point. It's going to work out in the end. So when I say by the change of your y's, traditionally, a lot of people know it as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. A lot of people are probably like saying, oh yeah, I remember this now. Okay. See? There's Tamika. Alright, so now let's plug in. What's representing my y sub 2, which is a negative 3, minus my y1, which is 4, over my x sub 2, which is 12, minus my x1, which is a negative 7. This is where a lot of people go wrong, right here. A lot of people will put 12 minus 7, assuming that this negative sign is going to be replacing the subtraction sign from the original formula. No, you're only replacing the x and the y's, not the operation. So in fact, this is going to be a negative times a negative type thing. So when you minus a negative, that means it's going to turn positive. So it looks like this. Negative 3 minus 4 over 12 plus 7. That's what happened here. Okay? So now, You have negative 3 minus 4, that gives you your negative 7. And then your 12 plus 7, that gives you your 19. Okay? So this is what you got. So last year. Is that good or bad? Because trust me, there's some really great teachers out there, and there's some that you're like, just don't. Just don't anymore. Alright? Now, well, as I mentioned, it all depends on where you're from. So if you want to, you can also get the same answer if we go and read this from left to right. So if I wanted to, I could say y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So if I'm reading, a lot of people, they're perfectly fine with doing the y's for the numerator, but then they switch things when it comes to the denominator. That's why when people go from y2 to y1, they're fine. But then the denominator, they'll do x1, x2. You're going to get an answer, but it's going to be wrong. So why not read from left to right, left to right? So you can do 4 minus the negative 3, and then negative 7 minus the 12. So you have a minus and negative, so that means that's going to turn positive. So now you have a positive 7 over negative 19. It's still a negative slope. Okay? When it comes to negative slopes, either the numerator or the denominator can carry the negative, not both. Not both, because a negative divided by a negative will give me a positive slope. Okay? Alright? So, you got choices. Now, let's translate this. Okay, translate that. Just go ahead and put it into the chat. And translate that. Okay. Okay, got Nita, I see you. Hunter, I see you. Cams, I see you. Okay. Alright, Tatiana, I see you. Nelly, I see you. Okay, It's, I see you. Zama, I see you. Okay, Brenda, I see you. Alright, so now, let's pick. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which one do you want to see? Which one do we want to use? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Put it in the chat. Okay, so we're still riding hope for the 3. So we got a 3 and we got a 2. Oh, got more 3s, got a 2. Oh, got a 2. We got a tie with a 3 and a 2. Okay. Oh, I'm going to explain that in a second, Nova. I got you. Okay? So right now with a tie and a 3 and a 2, who's going to break the tie? 3 or 2. Watch it be like 1. Oh, you already voted. Alright. Hunter with a 2. Alright, so let's hit with 2. Let's see what we got. Alright. So, a number decreased by 8 is identical to double the number. Alright, so let's break it down. So, a number decreased by means subtraction. Okay, so certain words have certain operations. So, since we want to use x for our number, when we do number decreased by 8, it's just going to be x minus 8. Is identical means equals. Yes. And equals double the number. So we're using this same number. Since we don't know double. Double the trouble, double the fun, right? So double means you're multiplying by 2. Okay? Alright. Good. Alright, so a number decreased by 8, decreased by means subtraction. is identical to double the number. So let's get to solving. This is the type of problem that most people generally miss because we have an x on both sides of the equal sign. And I know some people like to say, let me draw a barrier, because what happens on one side of the equal sign needs to happen to the other. Most people will be like, oh, let me just combine the x's and then add the 8 and then I solve. No. We need to combine them, and it doesn't matter which side your x's are on. So if you want, we could subtract this 1x on both sides of the equal sign. So x minus x gives me 0. I don't need that 0. So we have our negative 8 is equal to 2 minus 1, or how I like to say it, 2 plus a negative 1, which gives me 1x, or just x. A lot of you guys love to bring 1x down and then divide both sides by 1. You get the same blessed answer. Okay? Alright, so remember when you're taking these exams. Now, here's another way. I know a lot of people like, can you show me the other way? What happens if I subtract the 2x? Not a problem. See, for me, I'm just lazy. I see my x's, and I always try to pull it to where my largest x is. But if I want, I could subtract that 2x. Sure, why not? But if I subtract that 2x, that means I have 1 minus 2x, so that gives me a negative 1x, minus 8 equals 0. I have to put that 0 as a placeholder down this time because there's nothing on that side of the equal sign. So then I can add 8, negative 8 and positive 8, that will give me 0, but I don't have to put the 0 down as a placeholder because I still have my negative 1x. And 0 plus 8 gives me 8. Right, exactly, you get the same thing. So now I gotta divide negative 1, and my x is going to equal to negative 8. Two different ways, same answer. But I'm lazy. Okay? I'm lazy. No. Just no. I'm not doing it. If I have an opportunity to shorten it out, fine. But if this is what you need to help break it down so you can get the right answer, so you can pass your GED, your ASVAT, your Accuplacer, your TEAS test, your HESI test, your SAT increase, your ACT increase, GRE, all the letters of the damn alphabet. I feel like there's always so many letters. Do what makes sense to you. Alright? Okay. 11 and 20 yet? Alright? Yes. You have to know your multiplication. If you know your multiplication, you can do any form of mathematics out there. And if you need help with multiplication facts, I've already got, I don't know why I don't just put things out there. Because I do have multiplication cards, but if you want something quick in a hurry, make sure you follow Math Stephanie. Okay? Because she always comes on with, ooh, can I get a P instead of a front suit? Okay, you can follow Math Stephanie. She comes on every single day, and she does flashcards with multiplication. That's all she does. Well, she does some other things too, but that's it. Alright, so what we got? We got 32. Hey, Coco, how are you? Okay, Nelly, and Agnita, I see you. Cams, I see you. Jinkies, I see you. Okay. Who does? Is it Kiersey or Kersey? I see you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, definitely in multiplication charts. Okay. So who else? Who else do I see? Okay. Alright. La la. Or la squared. What we got? Alright. So let's do what's inside. Parentheses. Okay? You're still following that. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. If you don't see an equal sign, that means you are doing simplification. That's order of operations. Each and every time. Alright? So you have your 35 minus what's going on inside the parenthesis. You have 2 plus 1. That gives me 3 to the third power over 3. Now, we could try to figure out what 3 to the third power is divided by 3. But take a look. These two things have the same base. Okay? They have the same exact base. I could use one of my lovely properties of exponents. Right? So this 3, every time it's a whole number, actually has an exponent of 1. So since they have the same base and I'm dividing, that means I can subtract my exponents, right? So 3 minus 1 gives me 2. Now if you want to see it in full throttle, 3 cubed is the same as saying 3 times 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 times 3 gives me 27. And 27 divided by 3 gives me 9, which is exactly the same as 3 squared. Okay. Yep, we did parentheses before exponents. So that's where this 3 came from. 2 plus 1. Alright. Then if you want to do 3 cubed, you get to 27. But I also noticed that they both had the same base. I can use my rules of exponents to help me out here. Okay? Alright. So now we're going to have to do our subtraction of the 35 minus the 9. So that gives us 26. Okay. Alright. Yes, please do not forget about your PEMDAS. Okay, don't forget about your PEMDAS. Questions? Alright. Okay. Try this. Okay. What will this equal? Bidmas or Bodmas? They changed the I to an O. My 4 to the 4th power. Okay. Yes, please excuse my dear son. That mental math, that's okay. So these are some of the things you can do to sharpen that up. Okay, not too shabby. Okay. If you're not sure, we can put a question mark, but I'm going to give you some time. Because I know there's 3 different ways that's very popular here in the States. Alright. In grade 9. Okay. Here. Alright. Nova, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Lala, thank you for your honesty. Lovely, thank you for saying that. Because we're going to talk about that. Brenda, thank you for saying that. Because we're going to talk about that. This is probably, like, especially for those people that are just right there on the cusp of passing their test and they just can't get over. It's these little things that's getting you. It's the little things, knowing the integers as well as what our steps are. Okay? Healing Queen, thank you so much. So let's take a look. So if I said, let me flash back to the last time. Okay, remember when I said, well, 3 squared. 3 squared is the same as saying 3 times 3. We basically said the exponent's job is to tell the base how many times it's going to multiply itself. The same thing is happening here. Don't let these expressions fool you. This exponent of 2 is telling this entire expression that you're going to multiply yourself 2 times. Okay? So if you're a person that said, okay, let me just square this and let me just square this, and that's my answer. They always have that as one of the answer choices, each and every time. Drives me nuts. But this is what you have to do. Now we have a binomial being multiplied to a binomial. So what's happening? We're doing the distributive property. You guys heard of FOIL? Yeah, that's what you're doing. And FOIL is nothing but distributing. So I'm going to take my 4x and I'm going to distribute to everything in that second parenthesis. So 4x times 4x gives me 16x squared. 4x times negative 7 gives me a negative 28x. Now I'm going to distribute this negative 7 to everything inside of that second parenthesis. So negative 7 times 4x gives me a negative 28x. And negative 7 times negative 7 gives me a positive 49. Notice right here in the middle. And you're like, oh, that equals 0. No. The only way that this equals 0, okay, I already told you, there's multiple ways of doing this. So, here's my thing. In order for this to equal 0, one of them has to be positive and the other one has to be negative. Okay? So since they're both negatives, that means I need to combine them. And they're going to have an answer that is going to be negative. And then we're adding 28 and 28. Okay? So that's where that 56x comes from. It's not 56x squared. No, we're not multiplying. We're combining. When you're combining, you're adding. You're adding negative 28 with a negative 28. Okay? Okay, which part, Miss Beth? Miss Bethesda. Which part? Okay. Alright. So first off, you're taking this expression and you're squaring it. That means you're writing out the 2 parentheses. You're writing out that base and you're multiplying it to itself. Okay? Where did the negative 28 came from? Got you. So when we do this, we're going to multiply. I'm going to take that first term of 4x and I'm going to multiply it to everything inside the second parenthesis. So the 4x times 4x gives us our 16x squared, and 4x times negative 7 gives me negative 28. Then, because you're multiplying Nova, when you multiply, you add the exponents. When you add or subtract, you leave it alone. Okay, good question. Alright, so now I'm going to take this negative 7 and multiply it to everything into the second parenthesis. So negative 7 times 4x gives me negative 28, and negative 7 times negative 7 gives me a positive 49. Okay? Alright? So, inside the middle, okay, the middle terms, that's where your like terms are. These don't cancel out. Okay, these don't cancel out. So you have a negative 28 and a negative 28. So you add them together to give your negative 56. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're going to bring everything down. Bring down our positive 49. Bring down our 16x squared. And right here we have an x squared, we have an x, and we have what's called a constant. So they're not like terms. X squared and x are two different worlds. Okay, x squared and x are two different worlds. So we can't combine those two. Alright. Okay. Now, that's one way of doing it. And I think depending on how advanced you want to get, we can keep it to that part. But you can't just square this and get your answer. No. You have to write it out twice. Okay? Alright? Okay. So if you want to go shortcut with the same problem, so what we can do is we can take the square of this first term. So we're taking our 4x squared, okay, plus 2 times your 4x times negative 7 plus your last term squared. Okay, so this is a little more advanced, but it works. So I like to start with this one if you're just starting out, because you can see it a lot better. You have the parentheses, but you will definitely, as you advance and you get better with this, you'll have your 4x squared, so you're squaring your 4 to get your 16 and your x squared. So now you're multiplying your 4 times a 7, which gives me a negative 28, and negative 28 times 2, that gives me a negative 56x. Then you have your negative 7 being squared, so negative 7 times negative 7, that gives you your positive 49. Okay? Two different ways, same answer. Okay? The second one, never heard of, but that's what happens when you get to a little more advanced. Okay? Not a problem. Right? There's a third one, which is called the box method. And then I'm done. The box method is since we have a 2 by 2 grid. So we know we have 4x minus 7, represent this side, and then we have 4x minus 7. To fill the boxes, you get to multiply. So that means 4x times 4x will be my 16x squared. Negative 7 times 4x will give me a negative 28x. To fill this box, I'm multiplying 4x and negative 7, which gives me a negative 28x. And to fill this box is negative 7 times negative 7, which gives me a positive 49. Right here are your like terms that you're going to add together. So when you write your answer, you start off with the highest degree, so that's my 16x squared. Negative 28 and negative 28 gives me a negative 56x. And bring down the plus 49. Three different ways same answer. Okay, similar to the Punnett squares. Exactly, that's where it came from. You know, if you got a blue eye and a brown eye, and then this other person go, yeah, there you go. Okay, like terms versus regular negatives. Basically, minus signs are negatives. Okay, so when we're looking at negative 28 and negative 28, if they're like terms, you combine them. You're always combining them. So you're going to be adding those negatives. So it's not like it's completely two different worlds. Okay? Okay? Alright. Hey, Nellie. Hey, Mel. How are you? Alright. So here's my thing. It's your choice. I love how some people say the second one was faster. This one is faster. It's up to your ability. Because when you're in the classroom, your teacher, some teachers will just push the FOIL method. They will not touch the box method. Some teachers might give you the choice of the FOIL and the box. Some teachers might just shoot you straight to the advanced part. It all depends on, one, your experience, but now that you're older, you're not in the classroom, you're not here to impress me. I'm not, like, oh, let me see if I can kiss the teacher's butt so I can get a good grade. No, there's no kissing of butts, okay? Stop leaving a bruise. Keep it moving, all right? So you figure out which way works best for you. Now you're older. Now it's time for you to choose. Your teacher tried to instill, some did, some didn't. Whatever. But now you're older, okay? All right. So, with this, we did a combination of stuff. We did some order of operations. I want to do one more problem to see if you can get it. And then we're officially done for today, okay? So, trust yourself. Learn different concepts. It's okay. Okay. All right, so give this one a try. You're like, what? Take a look at it. Take a moment. Breathe. See what we got here. What are they giving me? What can I do? And try to put it in the chat. Okay? If you're like, yeah, no, put a question mark. I'm going to explain it anyway. It's not going to be like, all right, here's the last problem. Bye. No, I'm going to explain it. All right. This is your weakness. Okay. It's all right. Take your time. You don't have to be the fastest here. You don't have to be like, oh, yeah, I know everything. I'm so awesome. Okay, great. All right. Awesome, baby magic. We got this. But take your time. Try to understand it. Take it step by step. No judgment, just support. That's all I'm giving on these lives. Okay? Sometimes I feel like I'm giving a hell of a lot more, but that's all I'm giving. Okay? All right. So I'm seeing some 20s. Done this. Okay. Got you. And I'll help you through it. I will help you through it. So now it's a combination. Okay, Rowie, I see you. We have the f of x is equal to 5x. The g of x is equal to 2x plus 1. So we got two different functions here, f function and g function. But what is it they want us to find? They want us to find the f of 3, and they want us to add the answer. Sometimes I wonder, TikTok just does some weird stuff. Okay. So we have f of x, and they want us to find the f of 3. Notice the 3 and the x are in the same spot. Okay? Hopefully you guys are still hearing me. Alright, so notice the 3 and the x are in the same spot. So that's telling me that wherever I see an x, I'm going to substitute a 3. So that means the f of 3 is equal to 15. Okay, we're good with that. Now, we're going to the g function. So g of x, every time I think of g function, I always keep thinking of g unit. G unit. I know. I was teaching during that time. So this time, when we substitute, we're looking for the g of 2. So notice the 2 and the x are in the same spot. So we have our 2 plus 1, and what goes in is the 2. Okay? So that means the g of 2, so we're not doing anything with the left-hand side, just to keep track of what you substitute in for. So now you have 2 times 2, that gives us 4, and 4 plus 1 gives you 5. Alright? So now we just got to finish it out. They told us what the f of 3 is. We found it to be 15. And they want us to find the answer of the g of 2, which we found was 5. Now 15 plus 5, our official answer is 20. That's where everyone is getting the 20 from. Okay? It looked crazy intimidating. Okay? Not a problem. It looks crazy intimidating. But if now that you see, oh, that's all they wanted? Yeah. This is definitely a 4-point question. Maybe not this particular one, but function notations, that's a 4-point question on a GED or any high school equivalency test. Okay? A lot of the questions. This one, when we did distribution like this, just solving this is considered a 4-point question as well. So by getting some of those 4-point questions and understanding the basic concepts, the basic arithmetic and the distance and age formulas, you're going to pass the test. All right? Okay. You're thinking that they wanted more. Exactly. Okay? I do one-to-one tutoring, Nancy. Yeah, just reach out to me. Okay? You're almost there? Got you. All right? I try username. I try. Okay? All right. So, wrapping up. Hopefully, you've learned. We learned so many things. We did order of operations. We've done function notations. We did some translating of word problems. We did a little bit of factoring. Okay? Next time, I'm going to probably do some more square roots and cube roots because they exist. Exponents. We've done a few of those as well. So by keeping yourself not only practicing, because this is the part that gets everybody, it's not so much the practicing, it's the knowing, then the practice. So we did all this stuff. What are you going to do with all this? What are you going to do with all these answers? What exactly are you going to do with all these things? So this is why I have a system. Okay, so if you're trying to pass any of those exams and you are in need of a system or any kind of assistance, go ahead, click on the link inside my profile or send me a DM. Either way, I will accept it. Okay, if you want to do some more extra practice, you can do that right here with my free math checkup. Okay, if you do it, great. If you want me to look over it, awesome. But then this is the part that I want you to know. Right here between the F and the IN is going to be my YT channel. Okay, so if I click on that, this is where you get all my replays. Okay, this is where you go to get all the replays. So I developed a link for you so you can get to it rather quickly. Okay, so if you scroll down a little bit further, you see your TikTok lives, live and uncut. I am not doing editing of all these things. My life is already cray cray. Don't need more pressure. Okay, so this is where you can go. And sometimes I'll do a combination of stuff like we do today. All right, but I also do like individual stuff later on. Okay, so go ahead, peruse it, look through it. Again, just click the link that is in my profile. Okay, click the link that's in my profile. But if you want to have a chit chat, talk about your discussions, talk about, hey, I'm about to take a test and I'm completely lost, please let me know. Okay? Please let me know. So send me a message, send me a DM. Don't just say hi because I delete those. That's what all my lovely little scammers like to do. Tell me what you are particularly doing so I can better assist you. Okay, guys? All right. So, wrapping up, I will see you again tomorrow morning at 7:45. I might be going live again this evening. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how things go. Okay? All right, everyone. Have an awesome day. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for working with me. Okay? Have a great one. Bye now.